Right guys, welcome back to a brand new video and another episode of my F1 2019 career mode here today, and we are back for another race, this time at Singapore. If you guys missed Italy, which was the last episode, then go watch it by clicking the link in the top right hand corner of your screen to go watch that video before we jump into any spoilers here today. But for this one, we are here at Marina Bay in Singapore, and the F1 night race, if you will. And in terms of this weekend's weather forecast, it's looking pretty decent, no major chance of rain expected, and qualifying the race looking to be dry, and also practice as well. In terms of upgrades, we have a minor engine power upgrade on the car. We also have an ultimate front downforce upgrade for the aerodynamics, and those two upgrades put together, which have been successful, is going to mean that we once again hit the front and we are the fastest team on the grid. But Red Bull and Racing Point bring some upgrades of their own, so we're not quite running away with it just yet, but we are number one, and we're the top team in terms of R&D development, and we still have 1,300 points to spend, plus whatever else we earn in this episode at the end of the video. But in terms of practice, we're going to jump into things here at Singapore, and straight away I could notice that front downforce upgrade. Straight away, the car was much better than it ever has been around, especially these kind of tracks, where the front end is so important. And the Williams, just I've noticed, generally has a kind of understeery feeling just etched in its DNA. There's no way you can get rid of it, but the upgrade definitely made it a little bit better, and the car's a bit more front end pointy, which is what I like around here. And we had a successful session. We got pretty much purple and everything except for the qualifying performance test. We missed out by, I believe, 1/10 of a second on getting a purple score, but it was encouraging nonetheless, and the car looks good and feels good going into qualifying here at Marina Bay. This weekend we're back on 110% AI, as we have been for the last couple of races at Spa and Monza, and overall I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a bit of a mixed session, I can tell you already. There's a bit of a lack of consistency with the lap times in terms of Q1 and Q2 and Q3. You'll see in a moment why, but other than that, it was a pretty good session, I think, and I was very, very happy with how it went, and the car was working well, to be honest. I really had a good balance. I mean, you've got a good balance around here, you notice it, it makes a big difference, and you can really push that little bit extra and find those extra couple of tenths, go those extra few millimeters wide on each curb and up to the wall, and take those risks really around a street circuit when you have that setup confidence in the car, which is going to really, really help you out. So overall, we're going to jump into it here. Hopefully it's a good session for us, and we can try and qualify well. I don't think I've been particularly great historically around here, so I'm curious to see, now that we have the best car on the grid, if we can maybe turn that around a little bit and try and do a little bit better. But in terms of Q1, we're going to see it here on board currently. This was the first of 2 runs in this session, and it wasn't that bad of a first run, to be honest. Currently, Pierre Gasly setting the pace with a 1 minute 30.9. I'm going to tell you guys already, that was the fastest lap of the weekend ever. Like, that lap is not getting matched at all. That lap was set under time simulation, therefore it's a glitched lap, so it's not really accurate. I made a video about that recently. If you're going to go watch it, you click the link in the top right corner of the screen. You can go watch it if you want to see what I'm on about. But I went out again for a second run because I was only P15 and I had to improve and get out of Q1. And traditionally the AI are quite strong in the first part of qualifying, so I have to try and improve here. And I want a much better lap this time around, 4.5 tenths up here as we go into sector 3. And at this point, it's all about just holding it together and not throwing the lap away. We're looking about half second up at the minute now as we find a bit more lap time. And with 30 seconds to go, it looks like nobody else is improving. And again, the laps that were set at the first part of Q1 was because of time simulation, therefore the AI are not going to be able to improve on those because all the laps are glitched. So as you can see here, going for the final corner, we are going to improve by nearly 6 tenths, and we actually got up to the top 8 and actually just nudge Giovinazzi there, go 7 tenths off Gasly's lap. So overall, a decent lap there, 131.7 from us is pretty much the best we could do, to be honest. That lap was Q3 levels of pace in terms of what I've got in the tank. There's not much more left in the tank after that one. That was a really, really strong lap, with Gasly the only man in the 1 minute 30s there, and Russell with a 31.0 in second place. So we now move to Q2, and this first run was on a used set of tyres, and I struggled towards the end. The tyres were letting go. We do a 32.2, very poor lap there, but Verstappen, because these lap times are not glitched, because I made sure they weren't, Verstappen's quickest, but with a 31.5, which is 6 tenths slower than Gasly's lap in Q1. So a much more realistic lap time we can aim for in this session. So we're going to run on board here for a full lap in Q2, and we're going to see if with the fresh tyres we can try and improve on this. Currently we are P3, surprisingly, and no one's really going that quick in this session, which is really, really weird. But then again, maybe I was misled by the Q1 pace. So yeah, we're going to try and improve anyway, because the 32.2 is far off where I can really go, and I know I can go a lot quicker than that. And currently you can see we had a bit of a wild sector 1, not the best, a little bit scruffy here and there, and we're a tenth and a bit down on Verstappen currently, but we find a bit more time there through that left-hander, and also a bit more time through this right-hander. I made a mistake here last time, and we're about half a tenth to a tenth of a second up here as we lose a bit of time through the double left. We get a good exit, and overall a marginally better lap so far up until this point, but I want to make sure this lap is better so I can start the race on these tyres, because the tyres on the first run have done 2 laps, one in Q1 and one in Q2, so they're a lot more worn out, and I don't really want to start the race on those. So as you can see, we're making sure that we don't push flat out on these, but just making sure the lap's good enough to get through into Q3 is the target here. Currently 2 tenths down of Verstappen after 2 sectors, looking pretty good. And it's been a pretty comfortable lap up until this point, nearly 3 tenths up here as we go to sector 3 now, going through a series of chicanes, and this is all about mechanical grip in the car.
30 seconds left in the session.
As we now go underneath the bridge here for a little left-right chicane combo, and we're about nearly 3 tenths up. We lose a bit of time there, getting a bit unstable over that curb, and luckily for us though, we do recover some time on the exit of that left-hander, and now into the final corner, just going to throw the car in and keep it nice and tidy as we run up to the line, open up the DRS, and we improve the second place, and back into the 131, 31.9, and that was 3 tenths off Verstappen's lap, but overall quite happy with that one, even though it was surprisingly 2 tenths slower than my Q1 lap. That was a 0.7, this was a 0.9. We was third place, pretty comfortable really, no one really challenging us, and it's pretty much the 2 Red Bulls out front, and I can maybe challenge Russell, it seems, looking up from the outside in, but into Q3 we go, and there was actually a chance of rain, not predicted on the weather forecast, but on the monitor it said rain, so I went out very early. I was one of the first cars to get a lap in. I believe there's only 2 cars or 3 cars in front of me, including both racing points, and I believe George Russell possibly, so I went out early, and this was a fantastic lap. Straight away 1, 2 and 3, absolutely spot on. Now through turn 4 we just really take a big chunk of inside curb, get the power down really early, and open up DRS as we run overtake mode along this entire back straight to really maximise the speed trap as we now brake for turn 6, down to 4th gear, really attack the inside curb. There's a lot of time to find and use all the exit curb you need, and then quickly back on the brakes with this little right-hander here, 100-degree right-hander, which opens up this kind of double apex left where it's very easy to scrape the wall on the outside if you're not careful. Quickly back on the power as we now go down towards turn 10. It's important to really kind of sacrifice the first one to open up this little right-hander where you've got to really get over the curb and make up for a lot of time. Try and get the power as soon as you can through the Anderson Bridge, down towards the hairpin. First gear action as we run a bit wide. Missed the apex ever so slightly, but we get good traction and exit as the rain starts to fall now at the end of the lap here. So we've timed this quite well as we go towards the end of sector 2, into the start of sector 3, through turn 14. Getting a big bit of traction there, and very, very good exit speed as we now go into this, again, series of chicanes, this time a right-left, followed up by a left-right where we go under the bridge. Sebastian Vettel set the pace, he gets beat by Perez there in the racing point. Again, going under the bridge through the chicane, the rain's starting to pick up in intensity now, and I'm just trying to hold the lap together at this point and not throw it away. It's been absolutely fantastic as we go through the last major break zone on the circuit. We now just have a little lift and throw the car into the final corner, open up the DRS, and we go quickest. A 1:31.6, my best lap of the weekend, and a tenth of a second quicker than my Q1 lap, and even with the conditions that was still an incredible lap, and we timed it beautifully. Even Verstappen across the line and couldn't go quicker, so we timed that literally spot on, and the AI couldn't improve, and we're going to secure what I would say is probably an unexpected pole position in Marina Bay here at Singapore, and I'm absolutely chuffed to bits. Really, really happy with that one. I didn't think we'd do it. I had struggled for a bit of pace all weekend, but then again, the Q1 laps weren't really representative of the true pace of the AI, and if you go back and look at the results from Q1, you'll see exactly what I mean. But overall, pole position for us in Singapore, and we're going to start the F1 night race from P1. But that is it for qualifying. We're now going to move into the race here for round number 15 of the season for the Singapore Grand Prix.
As the sun sets over the South China Sea, the sport that never sleeps is alert and raring to go. Welcome, under the bright lights of the Marina Bay circuit, to another Singapore Grand Prix. It's a very long, very physical lap, this one, and really there's not much in the way of margin for error. So we have a bit of an endurance race for you tonight. We're here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit today, located in the heart of Singapore. The circuit consists of 23 corners, 13 to the left and 10 to the right. It's a track that's incredibly technical, so don't expect to see the drivers taking too much at full throttle. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Martinez. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances, but what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another great race today.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Martinez lines up on pole position and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Magnussen, Sebastian Vettel and Hamilton, Russell, Sainz, Bottas and Antonio Giovinazzi. Gasly, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Ricciardo, Kimi Raikkonen and Grosjean. Leclerc, Norris, Alexander Albon and Daniel Kvyat. Stroll and Nico Hülkenberg completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Right, so here we are then on the grid for the Singapore Grand Prix, starting from P1, a very rare and not very common pole position for us. You know, we have struggled more than you might think, even though we've had a pretty strong car this season, but I'm hoping to convert that into a race win here today, because that would seriously give us a massive boost in the championship fight with Max Verstappen, who's the man that starts alongside me. So it's important to get a good start. Ultimately, this is a street circuit, so 9 times out of 10, if you hold it into the first corner, you've got a good chance of winning, and then it's all about strategy and not giving it away. So in terms of our strategy, we're going to start on the softs, of course, because we don't really have a choice here, and then we're going to go into the mediums, and then onto the mediums once again. So it's all about just avoiding a Verstappen undercut and trying to manage tyres, because tyre overheating is going to be a big problem, especially on the soft tyres as well. We're going to have to be careful for that. It can be more manageable in the mediums, but on the soft tyres, it's going to be very tricky. And if I can clear Verstappen and get a second clear before DRS is available, then that'd be fantastic. In terms of fuel, we're running the lowest possible amount, and even then we're 1.8 laps over, so we're extremely heavy. So I'm definitely going to try and burn some of that in this first part of the race. But overall, no chances of rain. It's a very straightforward one. Let's just try and win the race and try and secure 25 big fat points. Let's jump into it. It's time for the Singapore Grand Prix. Here we go then. Let's try and get a good start here. Very important as we get ready for the 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go. Good start. We're going to get across though to avoid Verstappen. Perez looking for a move down the inside at turn 1. We're going to just about hold it. We was 3 wide briefly there with Perez and Verstappen, but we've come out on top. Perez up to second place. That's good for us in terms of our race, because Perez isn't as quick as Verstappen. We know the Racing Point's got good straight on speed, but it's not so good for the corners. But we're putting away already here. Really good start from us as Perez and Verstappen. I believe they're side by side at the minute. We're going to try and pull away here, use the rich mix to establish our pace early on. I've got to really try and use the right-handers, because the left tyre doesn't get as hot around here, so it's a tyre that doesn't get much of a workout. It's normally the right-hander of the tyres that get more work, so we're going to try and lean on those right-hand corners to really burn up the left side rubber. But we're putting away here already, good to see. Although Perez is trying to keep me in range. Let's see if we can try and have a strong end to the lap here and try and open up a gap to the Racing Point and keep it tidy for the hairpin. There we go. Try and use my ERS tactically as well. That's a good exit from us, picking up some nice traction, and we are putting away here. This is looking good. I'm going to keep it in high lap mode for sector 3, because I want to see if I can really push and pull away from Sergio Perez here and give it everything. I want to concentrate now and see if I can get on with this, but so far it's a good start. My rears are overheating already. I've pushed hard and they're cooking. Got to turn the engine down. Hopefully that will do the job. Perez 0.9 behind. It's going to be close, so I've got to try and push, but my rears are going, so I'm starting to slide. This is not good. This is what I was worried about. This is why I hate the soft tyres in this game now, especially with such quick F1 cars, so developed, because it's literally impossible to push. You overheat instantly, whereas the AI don't, which is really frustrating. But yeah, there we go. We've lost that gap. He was 1.2 clear across the line, the start finish. Now Perez is on my gearbox, so forget about it. We're going to have to start managing things now. I would go for an early stop, but we're probably going to rejoin a lot of traffic, and if I can clear a few cars, that'd be good.
Okay, entering lap 3 now. DRS has been enabled.
Yep. We're going to have to defend now.
Some information on Verstappen. They seem to have an issue.
Oh, yes, there we go. That Red Bull struggling with reliability, but it's not over yet. Perez is looking pretty racy here. He's pretty close. I've had to go a little bit slower on that last lap to get my tyres back under control for temperature. It has worked, but now Perez is close. We know how fast that Racing Point is in the straights. Here he comes. We're going to defend a little bit. Keep the car in the middle of the track, and Perez doesn't quite commit to an overtake. But Verstappen's going to start dropping back here, so there's going to be a window of opportunity starting to form for a potential pit stop as well as he drops through the field.
Engine is looking a little worn. Power output will be less than optimal.
Now, this is the last race with certain components, so we'll have to put up with that for now. But there's a good opportunity here to try and pull away from Verstappen and also open up a bit of a gap on track for a pit stop. What we've got to do now is focus on Perez and not letting him get past. That's the important thing here, because if he passes me, I don't think I'm going to pass him back because I don't have the tyre temperature for it. That's a good lap from me there. My tyres cooled off a little bit and I've been able to pull away from Perez. Gap up to 1.2, personal best from us. But the second I push, I can just feel my tyres overheating instantly. But I think we might have just cleared the DRS from Perez, so we can now start to drive a bit more of a manageable pace whilst keeping the gap this time. So I think we've done it. Perez is dropping back a little bit finally, so we can start to manage our race now. I might go a bit longer on this first stint, depending on the situation with traffic, because that's going to be very, very key. If we just pit in for the sake of pitting, we're going to rejoin in traffic, and then we have to make loads of overtakes. We might get caught out by, you know, someone maybe one stopping. So we've got to be careful. I don't just want to pit straight away, so I want to try and look at the mini-map and try and analyse the situation a little bit. Perez pits, so there could be an undercut risk here, so we are going to push on this lap. I had a good gap, about 2 seconds, so we can manage that, but we are going to box this lap. So let's push, let's give it everything, and let's try and keep Perez behind us and avoid that undercut. Right, strong in lap here. Personal best middle sector. The tyres have kind of held on a bit. I'm actually surprised they haven't fallen away. They've kind of hung in there. They've kind of had a bit of a second wind. But we're going to pit in now. We need a good entry, because this will be close. Perez will be pushing flat out. Unless it's in traffic, I couldn't quite tell on the minimap when I was lapping. So I don't really know where Perez was. So we've got to try and just accept that he's got clean air and pretend he has, just in case. But I think we've done enough here. The question is, how many medium tyre runner cars are we going to pit out behind, and how many are we going to have to overtake? Hopefully not many. There you go, there's one of them, that's Ricciardo, and here come a few more. There's quite a few here, to be fair. This is going to be quite tasty.
What are we doing? One more stop today. One stop left in our strategy.
This is going to be close. Perez is the next car, but we do rejoin in front of him. So Perez did try to undercut. It didn't work out. I've noticed we've got a Ferrari a little bit further up on hard tyres. I think it was Leclerc. So I'd love to see if he was the one that stopped. I don't think it was him that stopped. I'll be shocked if he's gained that much. Here comes Perez though, he's got a chance here. We've got to protect the inside line. Show him the long way around. On the inside we hold the line, and there we go, we stay in front. Crucial bit defending there, because Perez with fully up to temperature tyres was looking for a move, and he fully had his engine winded up. But we've now got a bit of traffic to get past. This is what I was saying, I maybe could have stayed out a few more laps, because there's a lot of cars here, and we're going to lose a handful of time, which is not ideal. And all these guys are one stopping, so in other words, this is for position. You know, we're in a net P11 at the minute. We're out of sync because of our strategy, so we need to get these moves done on track. I'm all over the back of Stroll here. I've got so much more pace. Stroll on hard tyres, you know, he'll be on a good strategy because he'll be going on mediums in the next stint. Ricciardo is the one who worries me. He's the man in the lead on the mediums, but he's got a nice gap, and we've got to catch him, you know, for position. So this will be interesting. As we go for the final corner here, I'm going to try and get past Stroll. We've got Perez lurking. We've got to be careful to not get caught out here.
Be able to run in this engine mode much longer. We're about a lap over target. Drop down to mix too soon.
Good move there. Perez was looking around the outside. I had to dive it down the inside. I had to go for that, otherwise Perez would have got me around the outside. Perez is putting the pressure on. He's following me through now with these overtakes. Let's try and get after Hulkenberg. I don't have DRS unfortunately, but we have enough of a gap that Perez won't attack me, I don't think, into the brake zone. I think we're far enough ahead, so let's go after Hulkenberg and try and make up another position. We've got to use these medium tyres to make the overtakes. This is getting intense. Let's try and get past Hulkenberg on the pit straight. I've got to try and drop off a little bit and get some momentum. I was too close to Stroll last lap. I need to be further back so I can go in with full momentum. There we go, this is much better for us. The positioning is better. Through the final corner. Here we go. DRS, we're going to go to the outside. This will be an easy move for me. Outside is the much better way to go into turn one. There we go, job done. As the two Haas cars are battling in front of us here. This time Perez doesn't follow me through directly. He has to wait a little bit longer. And we do get DRS as well, which is good for us, off the Kvyat. Let's try and make some more moves. Making good progress here. I'm liking this. This is getting tasty in front as well. The Haas cars are really losing time. We might have a chance at Kvyat here. I thought about going down the inside, but you know what? It's a long race. I'm still in the net race lead. If you assume I'm going to overtake Ricciardo, so there's no need to go for that rash move. This is getting very tasty now. Ferrari, Haas. We're going to go around the outside of Kvyat here. He gets very slow mid-apex, and that's going to give me the invitation to go down the inside. Leclerc and the Haas side by side here. I'm going to try and get a switch back. Looks like it's not going to work though, and the Haas does actually re-overtake Leclerc there, so we'll sit behind for now. I'll try and pick something up. Well, they're still side by side here. Leclerc's a bit slow. That's going to put him on the back foot. Can we have a look? No, we can't. We don't quite have the engine power or the acceleration. But this is starting to cost us a bit of time now. I need to make this move. Let's see if we can get past here, because it's starting to cost us. I said Ricciardo worries me because the Alpha's a quick car. It's the fourth quickest car on the grid, and he's on mediums pulling away here, which is not good for us. Here we go. Let's get some momentum through the final corner. Throw the car in. There we go. Perfect range. No DRS on the Haas car. We're going to go to the outside. Leclerc will get boxed in, so we'll go around the outside. There's a bit of space there. And there we go, job done. Now let's get past Grosjean. Let's wait for the back straight, and we'll get that one done as well. There we go, over the curb, nice and smooth on the throttle. Job done. Let's get this move done. To the inside we go. Up to P6. Right, good progress. Up next, Lando Norris in the other Haas car. Let's go get him. We're really flying now on the back of Norris here. On for a personal best. We've absolutely dropped Romain Grosjean. Let's try and get past the Haas here if we can. Get the momentum again through the final corner. Same move as always. It's the one that works the best. There we go in the slipstream. No DRS for Lando, personal best. We're going to go to the outside again. Lando's quite brave on the brakes, but we're going to sail around the outside, just cruise around the outside and get the move done. Up to P5 now. We've got Albon up the road along with a McLaren, and also Giovinazzi currently in P2. Hopefully he can make that stick, because that'll be a good race for him. But let's try and push on now. We've got a nice bit of clean air to really open up a gap to Perez. Okay, cars in the pit lane. Ricciardo pits, along with Kimi Raikkonen, Albon and Giovinazzi stay out for a bit longer. Another personal best from me, 36.8. So we're up to P3 now, and we're going to probably get past Albon here pretty soon. If I can get DRS, I might be able to pass him on the back straight. Let's turn the engine up. I'm a little bit far back though. It's going to be close. Depends how much I gain through here. Not bad, but I think we're a bit too far back, unfortunately. We haven't got enough straight line speed really to make the difference. We are gaining, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Purple sector 1, using DRS of course as an assistance. I've just been sat behind Albon really with Lee Mix and Nunn. A good chance to save fuel in ERS, because I know he's going to pit this lap along with Giovinazzi, and that's going to give me the race lead back anyway. So we're just going to get the benefit of a DRS slingshot onto the next lap. So we lost a little bit of time overall, but that's fine. Although actually Giovinazzi stays out, so surprisingly. He'll probably pit soon though. Actually no, he's on hard, so interesting strategy. Gio may be going for the reverse. That could pay off for him, to be fair. Running in clean air, it's a 1-2 for Williams. Perez now back up to third, but look how much time he's lost in the traffic. But this is good strategy from Giovinazzi on the hard tyres, to be fair. This could work for him later on in the race when he goes into the mediums. We've both got one stop left, so realistically, it's a 1-2 for us at the minute. If it stays like this, and I think it could do. Let's see how this progresses, but at the minute I've just realised this is a 1-2 for Williams. Personal best, 36.3, good lap from me there. As we're now closing in on Giovinazzi. We need to pass him because he's probably going to pit before me and go for those fresher mediums, so he'll probably regain on me anyway, but obviously I want to be my teammate, so we've got to try and pass him. It won't be this lap, it'll be on the next one. We'll probably pass him in this exact same spot, but I'll make it nice and easy. In the meantime, I'm going to use his DRS to pull out as Hulkenberg retires from the Grand Prix. Will there be a safety car of VSC? It seems like there won't be, because that could change the race. But nothing's going to happen, so that's good. I'm happy with that, because that would have potentially ruined our 1 and 2 finish. But now we've got to try and switch places here, because I'm starting to lose time. Right, let's get past Giovinazzi here. Let's get that good exit, get that momentum building through the final corner. Can we pass him here? I don't think we can, we're not close enough, so I'm just going to back off.
Green flag.
That was where Hulkenberg retired. We'll just sit back for now, and I'll get him on the next straight. What I don't want to do is I don't want to put him offline, So he goes defensive. That's going to cost a lot of time, both me and him. Good run through there, nice and tidy. We are close enough. Well, he has pulled away a bit, but we have got the juice. Just going to send it around the outside. It's a little bit wide on the brakes, but we get it done. Gio leaves me plenty of room. I just got running a bit hot on the brakes, but we got it done. And not a major amount of time lost there. Now we've got to push on. Hopefully we can drag him with us a little bit. Okay, Perez is pit actually. So Perez is going to undercut Giovinazzi here, unfortunately. I've just realised. So Giovinazzi didn't cover the undercut. Hopefully Perez comes out in some form of traffic, because that's the only hope we have. Otherwise it's going to be P2 for Perez, and Giovinazzi is going to be waving goodbye to that 1-2 finish, unfortunately. But there's still a strong chance Gio gets third. Hopefully he pits this lap. I'm hoping he does.
Antonio is in the pits. Antonio in the pits.
Yeah, there we go, Gio pits. That's good. No stacking, so we avoid that scenario. We're looking good here. I'm debating whether to try and stretch it to a soft tyre, but I don't think I've got any softs left, unfortunately. Let me just check. Yeah, I don't have any soft tyres left, so we'll just go for the medium. But we'll pit in this lap, and I'll try and go for that fast lap of the Grand Prix. I think it's possible. Going to save a bit of fuel in the RS. Giovinazzi's rejoining P2 though, it seems. That's long enough, so it does look like Perez got caught in traffic maybe. So Gio, P2, looks like we are on for a 1-2 finish. This is good. Alright, here we go then. We're going to box in this lap, and we should comfortably rejoin the lead with Giovinazzi second, and it looks like it could be a 1-2 for us, and possibly, if I pick up the fast lap of the race, it could be 44 points for us. Maximum possible score for the team. Right, let's see. Let's hopefully we get a good stop from the boys. That's important. And yeah, we're going to try and score maximum points, and not a racing point or Verstappen in sight. It could be a big day for us in both championships. Here we go.
Go now.
I pulled away at the absolute perfect time there. I got that spot on. 1.815, really good stop, and we're going to rejoin.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
Giovinazzi crossing the line now. He has gained quite a bit on us on the fresh rubber, but not enough. And we're comfortably back out front. Russell in third with Perez behind. So there you go. Perez must have got caught behind Russell. Hence why he didn't get the undercut that he wanted. And there you go. Job done. Let's focus on bringing these two cars home now. And let's try and pick up the fast lap of the Grand Prix. The longer Perez stays behind Russell, the better. Because if Perez passes Russell, I think he might have the pace to get Giovinazzi. So I'm kind of hoping that Perez has a bit of trouble trying to get past the Red Bull. Right, let's go for this purple lap. Let's crank it up. Let's give it some. Let's see what we can do. I believe the target at the minute is a 35.7.
We pretty much burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down.
Make that 35.5 from my own teammate. That's the target to beat. I think we can easily achieve that. Let's push on. Very strong lap from us. This will easily be the fast lap of the Grand Prix, and I don't think it will be touched. 134.3. Very good lap. And that also pulls away from Giovinazzi as well a little bit, so the gap up to nearly 3 seconds. Perez up to third now though. Let's see what his pace is like, and can he catch Giovinazzi? There's still enough laps for it to happen, but I do think Gio's done enough to keep himself safe in second place, and I think it could be a 1-2 for us, but absolute misfortune to the second car, which we have seen happen before, and I'm hoping it doesn't happen again. Giovinazzi isn't letting me walk away with this one. He's actually going quicker than me at the minute. I'm struggling to match his pace. He's gaining a couple of tenths per lap, and the gap is slowly coming down. So I'm having to just raise my game a little bit just to stay on top and keep the gap. Perez hasn't got the pace. He's catching, but it's like a tenth of a second per lap. So it's looking good for this 1-2. Let's just hope we can get to the finish. I'm really hoping we do. Here we go then, through the final sector. Giovinazzi is getting a move on here. He's putting the pressure on, but he's going to run out of laps, unfortunately, as Fiat retires from the Grand Prix. But it is looking like Gio's going to make it, and for once the second Williams doesn't foul and doesn't break down. And here we go. It's going to be a historic 1-2 finish here at Marina Bay as we win once again, and it's maximum points for Williams.
Great job. You've done everything we wanted today.
It's been coming for a while, this one. What an excellent win for Williams. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, I know it's a bit of a boring answer, but the truth is they simply had the best speed package on the day, and a driver who knows how to take advantage of that. It doesn't matter how much time you spend poring over the stats and planning strategies if you can't keep the pace, and our winner today showed they could do both.
It looks like it's time once again to hand out the silverware as these successful drivers make their way to the podium. It was a gritty performance today by Williams, and they've got the race win to prove it.
Right, so looking at the final race results, it's a historic 1-2 for Williams. I believe the first 1-2 since probably 2002 or 2001, maybe, something around there. I want to say 2002 probably as my guess. It might be 01 as well. One of those 2 years, I want to say. It might be even before that, like back into the late 90s, but it's the first 1-2 in a long time, and the first 1-2 in this series that I've started, 3 seasons ago, and I'm so happy we've got to this point because we've peaked at the right time for both championships. We pick up 26 points today, including the fastest lap, Giovinazzi P2, and it's a maximum 44 possible points for the Williams team, with Perez rounding up the podium in 3rd place for Racing Point, Russell P4 for Red Bull. Damage limitation for those guys today as Alfa Romeo get 5th and 6th with Ricciardo and Gasly. Good race from them. And then Bottas P7, Magnussen only 8th in the 2nd Racing Point on a 2-stop strategy. And then Albon and Leclerc running out the top 10 with Raikkonen, Norris, Grosjean, Sainz, Verstappen, Hamilton, Stroll, Vettel all missing out on points, but Verstappen they're down in P15. And then we've got Kvyat and Hulkenberg retiring from the Grand Prix here today. But in terms of what that means for the driver standings, I increased my gap to a whopping 52 points, and the biggest gap I've had in a long time, if not ever possibly, with I believe 5 or 6 more races to go. Giovinazzi up to P12 with that podium, really good result for him, and that pushes him up into the top 12. And in terms of the constructors, we jump up to 2nd place. We overtake Racing Point, and we're only 9 points behind Red Bull. In other words, it's game on for the Constructors' Championship, and the target of winning both titles is still on, and it's more real than ever now, especially in the Constructors. That's what I needed from my teammate, a bit of a result, and that's exactly what we got here today, and finally we're now competing. But guys, that is it for the race here today at Singapore. We're now going to move into the laptop and put some upgrades onto this car for the next couple of races.
That was an epic battle today. How do you think this will play out? You left a lot of paint on the walls today. Were you struggling for grip, or did you just misjudge some corners? Appreciate your time.
Okay, so we have 2,400 points to spend on the R&D screen, and there's lots of options in terms of upgrades, but we are going to focus again on the engine performance to try and improve the raw engine power of the car. So we are going to purchase this major engine upgrade onto the car for 2 races time in Japan. And in terms of other departments, we're looking pretty good, to be honest, and I am tempted to do some reliability work because I'm not quite sure we're going to make it to the end of the season on some of our current components. So I am looking at the options here, and I am thinking potentially maybe an MG UK one could be possible, or even more important yet, maybe the energy store, because I want to make sure we can get to the end. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase an energy store upgrade for the next race in Russia, because I want to make sure that gets to the end of the season. But overall, guys, that is going to be it for this video, and the Williams will keep improving over the next couple of races, and hopefully we can try and push on towards both of those championships. If you guys enjoyed this video though, drop a like, and also get subscribed if you are new for daily Formula 1 content, and also turn on notifications to not miss any videos from me, and also finally check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.